Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome. Walking this path into the elemental fire area of the body, just above the emotional, and stepping into the mental body. I find myself a little somber today. I had 2 great days, in my journal, setting up plans. Good morning, Marilyn. Looking at where we're MacGyvering, where we're taking this journey and putting some timelines to it. And I was on the phone at 11 o'clock last night with the team that I've brought on board to help me work with all the technical stuff as I step into a new realm in a new area of my life and stepping out of my comfort zone. And I feel a little somber this morning. I had the opportunity, once we get into this receiving mode, pay attention to what shows up. We've had a lot of beautiful things show up for us that I've had a lot of beautiful things that have shown up for me that have really brought me to be like, well, what do I share? There's so much to share. And how to keep it from getting too chaotic. Because when there's chaos, we can't make a decision. But when it's simple, then we were like, yeah, I can take that on. I can step into that. I can try that. And so that may be going on for you. And even for myself and setting my timelines of where we're going and taking a look at taking this into a more of a private arena, so where we can meet and talk and go a little deeper without my worry that somebody is interpreting something and isn't perhaps setting the grounding, setting that container before stepping into working with the emotional body and then stepping up into the passion. When I was journaling this morning, I looked back at an April 5th entry that I wrote, and I had a heart beside it, and it was said, space and time and place, slowing down the human race. And it made me sad. It made me sad that we're so caught up in this overstimulating world. Just even watching my daughter flick through her phone, and I'm like, wow, how do you even look at the pictures that fast? What is it that's catching your eye? What's making you stop scrolling and stop for a minute to say, this is important to me? And, my fear is that the kids today, they're scrolling and it's filled with judgment. They're comparing. It's filled with comparison. And even for us, for myself as an adult, I look at other people that are doing similar work that I'm doing and how they're presenting themselves and how they're getting people to stop the scrolling, how they're getting people to stop and pay attention. I had the pleasure of watching a panel of 4 doctors yesterday talking about embodiment, because this is what I'm all about. This is about embodiment. So when I say live bliss, teach bliss, be bliss, that was my vow when I graduated. Where did those words even come from? They were so passionate as I stood in front of all the faculty and all the graduates and students, and I said, in a ceremonial way, I vow to live bliss, teach bliss, be bliss, and to educate and to learn. And to embody this embodiment, this sensoriness of how it's so important to turn our senses back on. So when I was listening to these 4 doctors, it's like they were talking about it as a percepticide, where we're killing off oneself. And they would use this term, thou shalt not be aware. And here's me crusading, be aware, be sensory. I'm just like, oh my gosh. because if we become aware, then we become harder to control. And there was one doctor that said, to think that this is a political issue, to think that just allowing the human race to be aware, to have a greater awareness. And what we're seeing is that with awareness, of course, pain starts to show up. Pain and more pain, right? So when we go back in, we need to go back in slowly with that awareness and that compassion and that loving nurturingness. When I woke up this morning and I was like, good morning world. And I was like, I just need to stay a few more minutes because I need to give myself some self-care before I step out of bed. When we look at the world and see it as there's probably a greater world of disembodiment than there is embodiment. And so what do we do about that? Well, we need to decrease the pain. We need to decrease the pain. And as the pain decreases, then as a person, you can step into being aware of that pain. As we talk, that somatic felt sense and starting to feel into that. But you might not even be there. I thought, okay, maybe we're going too fast. Maybe I'm going too fast. Maybe it's time just to let you know that it can be as simple as hearing music and having a feeling inside your body. Just noticing if there's any feelings inside your body, any sensations. Because the neurons in the mind, in my mind or your mind, may have atrophied. If we're not using them, if we're not using those sensories, then they may have atrophied. But the good news is that they can grow back. They can reform. They can redevelop, and can actually, over time, the sensations will return. And this is where we're in this world of re-nourishing. Instead of dis-ease, disembodiment, we're into the REs, return. We're going to return. You're going to return. And basically, when we look at it, first it's a concept. It's like, we're walking around with a cloth over our head and we raise it off and the veil has been lifted. It's like the fog has lifted. And then we can go to that place of experience. And then we can go to that place of deep experience. So I hope you got some pen to paper. And I wanted to share with you my experience of when I put the pen to paper, what showed up. It wasn't like, crack the groove, I'm doing something new and I'm loving it. No, I'm walking the edges of discomfort to relearn and refine the comfort. And I put on a cozy sweater. And I pulled out this little necklace that a woman in South India gave me. Me and my two colleagues were, when we went to do our global internship for our Advanced Integrative Energy Healing Program, we went a little early and threw our backpacks on our back and landed in Chennai, and then taxied over to Mamallapuram area, which is on the coast, the south coast. And this woman was so beautiful. She walked up to us and freely gave us these necklaces. Such a beautiful act of love and thoughtfulness and tenderness, to get back to that tenderness. So when you find you're in a place of the edge, or when you find your place a little bit of somberness, and I when I wrote somber in my journal, I was like, what does somber actually even mean? And it was like without color, deep sadness, And I thought it works, but this can be my jumping off point for today. And to share that with you in my experience of the work, because it's work. It's always work. So I had a lot that I had written down that I thought I would share, but I think it's most important that we go into this space now, today, feel our feet on the floor, and become grounded. Oh, there was one thing that I do want to share. I'm going to make you privy to another one of my famous drawings, a stick person. So when we're in the grounding area, it gives us an opportunity to get to know who we really are. Remember I said, who am I? When we're up here, we can't figure out who we are. This is often disassociation. We want to come back and associate with this. We want to more than associate, but association with this body, my body, in my body, is a good place to start. And then we've got the centering, right? We're our centering. What is most important to me? So who am I? What is most important to me? And then once we get this done, look at that, aligning your life with those things that you say are most important to you. So back in the first week, we were working with having some sort of boundaries and some sort of values from which we could at least maybe start from. Non-harming support and love was what my daughters and I have figured out to be conducive to us and our lives, and we don't think that it's a big stretch to ask someone to show up in our lives like that. Which also brings me to sadness. Like, why would non-harming love and support need to be even thought of as being a foundation and a value? Because it is. And we work with what is. So then again, I looked at the two sides of evolution, evolution, is it? And then involution, where we have the contentment and the happiness and the optimism and the belief and the experience and the enthusiasm. And we go into the passion and the freedom and love and appreciation. So this is how contentment, we might just start, we start there to start our grounding. So I thought it was pretty neat how those all came together, basically with the grounding, getting to know who I really am, centering what is most important to me, and aligning myself with those that I say is most important to me. And then working with all these energies together in this vessel, in my body's vessel. So let's just take a moment and feel our feet on the floor. Engage the sensory system. Engage the deep diaphragmatic breath into the lower of the abdomen. And with grace and gratitude, allow those feet to drop. Feet, that line right down to the center of the core of the earth. Through all that rock and shale, sand, cool, wet, warm, molten, fluid, all through those sensory ports, tracking right down to that energy, that center core of the earth, and allow that Mother Earth energy to come up through the bottom of our feet, into our legs. Allow it to wash over our knees, into our thighs, wash through our hips, all these beautiful joints that are gifted, that take us places and allow us our movement. Take it into the lower abdomen, up into the heart area. Allow that heart area to expand and the breath to come into the full lung, right to the tippy point ends of the lung, and into the shoulders and down the hands, the arms, into the neck and full head, and out through Sahasrara, chakra 7, and allow it to cascade down the outside of our body. And sit with this nurturing energy. See what you experience today. You feel that groundedness, that stability. That total stability. We have that stability, the momentum is easier. We're not just going to get knocked over as easily or lose our balance as easily. That's a clear indication that you may not be grounded. And bring it into our center. And sense our spine, that Sushumna, that power channel that houses all the nerves in our bodies, those messengers, to allow engaging the parasympathetic nervous system and engaging that deep diaphragmatic breath. Being aware if the breath is in the chest or not, and bringing it down into the lower abdomen. And aligning that, taking that hara line through from the bottom of the perineum, right up through the central core of the body, out the crown, into our solar system, our galaxies, cosmos, our universe. Connecting with a fine line to divine source, creator, higher self, universe, Father Sky, the place of many names. Your choice. And allowing that beautiful energy, golden white light, to come down, cascade down that fine line and into the 7th crown chakra and into the full head, filling every space, and into the neck, the shoulders, cascading down the arms into the hands. So everything that we touch is with divine creator source energy. And bringing it into the heart area, the region of the lungs and the ribs, and breathe it in, allow those ribs to expand, fully engulf the body in this beautiful white golden light, much like the healer crystal and the pieces of citrine that we're working with. Down into the lower abdomen, really engage that deep diaphragmatic breath into the hips and the legs and the feet. And now experience both those energies in our body. The safety and security of Mother Earth and the divinity and nurturing and grace of the golden white light. It's ever so healing. Allow it to touch anywhere in the body that it's calling. If there's anywhere that's asking for extra attention, allow these energies to work with that now as we sit here. The body always permission to heal with such grace and compassion. And allow the senses to come back. Invite them back. Dr. Wong yesterday gave a little story. It said, it's like somebody's housed in their castles. We're all housed in our castles. And someone's banging on the door, let me in, let me in. And it's like, don't shoot the messenger. You answer the door. It's like, why? Why are you here? Why have you come from so far away to bug me? Why are you here? Let them in. Invite them in. Give them a place at a table, at your table. Those sensory pieces. push them under the cover or muffle the voice. Invite them back. And find the place day after day to listen. I think the sadness is that we have to do this work when we were just born this way. And the perceptive side of killing off oneself is so that we have people working 10 hours a day and 12 hours a day. We have people that are going for a run or driving so fast and going for a walk, and perhaps not earbuds in or on their phone. No judgment and criticism. Just look up. Look up. Look in. Open the heart and see what comes forward. And it's not going to be without expression. That's what we're tapping into. That's what we're turning on. And I invite you to be in this container of safety for what shows up. As normally I just sit there and journal by myself. Maybe have a little cry in my sadness. Put my cozy sweater on. Put something that I love and that has a good memory for me. Light a candle and know that the work is important. This is the most important work. Yeah. Let's go into our outro, into the meditation. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you for giving me the space to be raw and real. I pulled a personal card today, which is, well, I always do when I'm journaling. It helps me to have a place, which place to journal after I do my meditation with my mala and work with my personal living mantra. I'll share this one. So it speaks of spiritual grace and purity. The purity of the soul light never fades, beloved. Release guilt, shame, judgment, or fear that you are not enough in any way. So that you may realize your beauty, be more of yourself, and shine your divine essence into the world. I'm not sure why it's such a struggle to get back to that place, that divine place. Yeah. But it's important. So I'm so glad you're here doing the work. And I'm glad I'm brave enough to be live and vulnerable and doing it with you. I love you so much. Live bliss, teach bliss, be bliss. Make it a great day.